It's day 7 and the smog that enveloped Mumbai after the fire broke in the Deonar garbage dump is still creating havoc. The air quality index over the last week has consistently hovered at the 300 levels. Even on the 4th of February, the air quality comes in at 306, which is very, very poor. The worst affected areas include Chembur, BKC and Andheri. Now, surprisingly, Delhi's air quality is better than Mumbai's at this point, standing at 247 in comparison to Mumbai's 306. Remember, I told you acceptable levels are around 100. My colleague Aishwarya Paliwan has been tracking this story closely. She sent us this report.
All through the week, we have only seen the air quality index of Bombay deteriorate. Currently, it's more than 300 levels, which is in a very dangerous position. The main reason for this is the fire that happened last week at Deonar fire dump. Till now, it has not been doused off completely. We can see a lot of smog coming out. I'm standing here with the residents of Chembur, the place which is amongst the worst affected areas. Let's listen to what they have to say.
It's really causing a lot of problems here, pollution here. First, we want the government to stop the fire and also completely prevent any dumping here. Dumping has to stop, the first thing.
I'm appealed that the corporators that I voted for were in Andaman and Nicobar over the weekend. God knows doing what, while the common people here were suffering.
The corporates are playing with our lives. We must stop the fire immediately.
Unprecedented situation calls for emergencies, networking amongst all the municipal corporation as well as the authorities to check what is the immediate solution to this problem. According to us, they should stop dumping and they should stop the fire. This is very, very dangerous for everybody.
In addition to whatever has been said, what is extremely important is prosecution of BMC officials who are responsible for negligence. Even today the boundary wall is broken. Anybody can go inside and set a fire and there will be an eye wash that two urchins set it on fire. I want everybody in the BMC, including the commissioner, prosecuted. Nothing less.
I want this Deonar dump to close. This fire, Mumbai, please listen, this fire is killing us. It's not a problem only of Deonar or Chembur, it's a problem affecting the whole of Mumbai. I want support from each citizen of Mumbai to say that this fire is not there and Deonar dump closes.
Very, very angry and agitated citizens are rightfully so demanding action from the BMC and from the local government from what can only be described at this point as a public health crisis. And our government doesn't seem to be taking notice at all. We've contacted the government and the BMC repeatedly over the story. We've barely got a response. No one from the BMC was willing to be part of this conversation on this show and respond to its citizens. But staying with the BMC this week allotted a considerable amount, 37,502 crore rupees on its budget outlay, but failed to wake up to the city's garbage problem. It allocated a measly 28 crore rupees for a new dumping ground. Above all of that, the BMC uses 46% of its budget to pay staff salaries. The rest of the money that was allocated to upgrade the city last year, it's only spent about 30% on infrastructure. On the heels of Tuesday's washout budget, we take a look at why Mumbai is not a smart city. We break down that budget that the BMC announced and find out where the problems lie.
Yes, that's right. Out of the total budget allocated, 46% of the amount will be paid as salaries to almost 11 to 12 lakh BMC employees. This is what BMC Municipal Commissioner Ajay Mehta said in his budget speech, which was held on 3rd of February. That's on Wednesday this week. If you look at BMC's track record last year of the remaining, the civic body spent only 30% on the city's infrastructure. Talking about the current budget, talking about the recent budget, when we spoke to civic activists and analysts, they said that this year's budget was no different and nothing new compared to the previous budget. In fact, allocations have also been largely flat on almost all the parameters. What BMC has missed in this budget is also talking about solutions and measures to control air pollution, which has been making headlines in the past few days. Interestingly, another important thing that BMC in his budget announced that most of the money would be spent on making Mumbai as an international business hub. But the biggest problem the civic activists feel that we don't have a basic infrastructure in place in Mumbai yet. Mumbai as a city is still struggling with basic necessities like 24/7 water supply, electricity. There are potholes everywhere, garbage everywhere, and recently we all are grappling with over pollution, air pollution, which the civic body doesn't have a solution to on an immediate basis. Lastly, analysts they also feel that rather than branding the city like Mumbai, the government, the BMC should basically focus on making this, giving the basic infrastructure to the citizens of Mumbai, which is the need of an hour.
All right, joining me on the show this evening, Charan Singh Sapra, spokesperson for the Congress Party, Milind Mhaske is the project director at Praja Foundation, Rishi Agarwal is an environmentalist. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'd like to point out to our viewers, we have a phone line open right now if you'd like to call us and get in touch with us, but no one from the BMC has agreed to be part of this conversation and to answer any of your questions. So we don't have a representative from the BMC after repeated phone calls for a response on the problem in Chembur. We've received no response from the BMC and we received no representation from the organization on the show. Mr. Sapra, I want to come to you first. This is the most the finances of the BMC put it in the richest municipal corporation in the country. It has an allocation that is sometimes, in some cases, larger than smaller states. And we've heard the commissioner just yesterday talk about the fact that the finances of the BMC, he said, are a very complex matter and it's very difficult for people to understand. But it's very simple. If we look at it as average citizens, there isn't enough being done on infrastructure, there isn't enough being done for clean water and clean air. So basic facilities that I would expect as a tax-paying human being, I'm not getting right now. What sort of response could the BMC possibly have for something like this? The fact that the average citizen in the city of Mumbai doesn't even get basic facilities. All right, Mr. Charan Singh cannot hear me right now. Rishi Agarwal, we've had this conversation in the past about the fact that, clean air, clean water is something that it should be a basic human right, but we don't have access to it in the city.
Yeah, so I think if you note, the Municipal Commissioner in the budget speech has reiterated that the utilization of funds is a really big concern and challenge. And but this is not anything new. In the past 3 or 4 budget meets that I have been going to, each and every municipal commissioner has been saying the same thing all over again. And on top of that, we in the past 1 year have been seeing scams like the desilting scam, and then there have also been instances where perfectly okay roads have been ripped apart and contracts given for those, whereas people are getting horrible roads in other parts of the city or overall in the city. The pedestrian conditions remain awful. So I think yes, it's all good to get wowed with new announcements which get made in every budget, but it's very important for the Commission.
The interesting thing is one of the largest allocations and the focus has been in making branding Mumbai. There's a branding exercise that's being planned to brand Mumbai as an international business hub. But I don't see why we should be branding the city if we can't do just basic things right now.
No, absolutely. I think it's a completely futile exercise, and if what is the purpose of branding is what we need to ask ourselves. If it is to attract more business, then clearly you will attract much more business by having great roads, great infrastructure, a clean air in space. I mean, with the kind of air we are breathing in Mumbai, which international business and whom are you going to brand your city to? So these are very fundamental questions, I think, which need to be revisited.
I'm told we have Mr. Sapra with us right now. Mr. Sapra, we're not getting a response or any sort of a convincing response from the BMC right now, but it's true that the city of Mumbai is being completely mismanaged.
Yeah, of course, since last 19 years, the BJP Shiv Sena has been ruling, and there has been absolutely no planning. Now, if you see the example of the fire on the dumping ground, the fire brigade could not enter the place where the fire had caught, and there was no security, there were no cameras, whereas the cameras are mandatory for all the dumping grounds to make a noting of the dumpers who are coming there to dump the garbage. So there is absolutely no planning, whether it is dumping, whether it is roads. There are potholes all over the city when there is rain. The drainage system gets choked up during the rainy season. The solid waste management has failed. Even the other civic amenities, everywhere these guys have failed, and they are coming with a budget, with an improvised budget each year. Now last year, they had three major projects in the budget which they have again transferred to this year. One was the coastal road, for which last year they had given 300 crores. Now this year they have given 1000 crores. Let me ask the BMC, what happened to the 300 crores which you had sanctioned last year in the last budget? Then they had sanctioned 200 crores for the Goregaon Milind link road in the last year's budget. Now this year they have sanctioned only 130 crores. So now where is this money going? These projects could not take off for a year. There was one more project, that is the Baikala Zoo, the revamp of Baikala Zoo. It was there in the last year budget, some 100 crores were given for it. Absolutely nothing has happened. And even after looking at this, I feel in this year's budgetary preparatory meeting, both Shiv Sena as well as BJP, they had their own different agendas. Whereas BJP was pushing in for Swachh Mumbai Abhiyan, they were pushing in for getting some money for smart city, they were pushing in for maintenance of open spaces, whereas Shiv Sena had a very different agenda. They were pushing in for the memorial for Bal Thackeray, they were pushing in for a theme park at Mahalakshmi Racecourse, they were pushing in for the Baikala Zoo revamp. Now when these both partners in BMC, they have their own separate agenda and they try to work on their own agenda, that means they are not thinking of the public in general. So public in general is taking for 19 years and BMC has failed miserably.
But is the BJP Sena infighting right now, because they obviously had two separate agendas, which is obvious to the entire city, and it's also obvious which agenda won, because none of the things that the Sena wanted has popped up on that budget. But has the infighting costed the city and the citizens?
Of course, this infighting has costed the city. They have not been able to work among themselves. They had their own different agendas and both were never matching. In each and every committee meeting also they were fighting and they were just going on the steady fuse. The city was undergoing such a serious problem of fire at the dumping ground and these people were at Andaman Nicobar Islands. Nobody bothered. So these are all the things. Apart from this also, the city needs a very big and great planning.
You know, Mr. Sapra, I'll ask you this question. Of course, you did talk about the fact that for the last 18, 19 years, the Shiv Sena has been ruling, ruling the city of Mumbai. But the truth is, the BMC at the end of the day is answerable to the Chief Minister of the state. And it's only in the last couple of years that we've had a BJP Chief Minister. Before that, we've had a Congress Chief Minister. Why wasn't there more done then? When the state was being ruled by the Congress, why wasn't there more done then to demand accountability from the BMC? Because as much as politics will set it aside, the BMC is finally answerable to the Chief Minister.
Of course, there was a Congress government and time and again the Congress government, the Chief Minister of Congress Party has asked for the accountability of the BMC. BMC is the implementing authority. Now, for example, I would like to say in 2012, it was Congress MLAs and MLCs who protested for the closure of the dumping ground. I live in Milind, which has a dumping ground where 3,000 metric ton garbage is delivered every day. Now, it was the Congress legislators who protested and then the process for Taloja ground, for which today BJP Shiv Sena is trying to take the credit, that Taloja ground issue came. It was the Congress CM who told the commissioner to inquire into the sewerage operation scam. So it was the Congress Chief Minister who told the commissioner.
If nothing was done, Mr. Sapra, in spite of the Chief Minister's instructions, it means that the Chief Minister was not in a position to manage the city.
No, of course the planning authority is the BMC. They need to give a plan. If they don't give a plan only, how the state governments are going to execute? The state governments can only pressurize them, which the Congress government has always been doing. They have been trying to explain them ki Baba, you are taking city for a ride and nobody is listening. They have their own agenda. The BJP has a
different agenda. You couldn't do much as government. What are you doing as opposition right now?
What they have done.
What are you doing in opposition right now?
No, of course the Congress The Congress, when it was in power in the state, we have been pointing out to the BMC rulers, the BJP Shiv Sena, that you are doing wrong. Now we are in opposition, we are again protesting against the state government as well as the BJP ruling in the BMC headquarters.
Right.
Now the issue is that they have failed everywhere, even in the health sector. They have not added any beds in ICU. They have just spent 7.2% of the last year's budgetary fund for the health requirements. Now this year they have come up with a new agenda that people coming from outside Mumbai, if they want to have health facilities in the civic hospitals, they will be charged more. Why this discrimination? What is this going on? Are we living in one country or not? There are so many questions coming up after this budget, yesterday's budget.
Right. Now I want to bring in Milind Mhaske. Milind, is the politics of the city of Mumbai, the fact that we're talking about the richest municipal corporation right now, is the politics of that money costing the city and its citizens desperately?
Yes. Well, actually, that's very true. The politics of the city is really costing the citizens a lot. If you look at the budget, what the BMC is not doing is coming up with an outcome budget. If it came with an outcome budget, the corporation will have to say what are the thrust areas that they want to spend the money on, how they want to utilize the money, and in the next year, when they come up with an analysis of it, the outcome indicators will clearly point out what they have done and what they have not done.
Go ahead.
So if it's done that way, then the BMC budget will become more effective, and the politics of the city can be kept aside, and the citizens will get the services more effectively. Even in the current budget, there is a provision which the BMC Commissioner has brought in to have a health insurance for the municipal employees of 96 crores. Now, if the BMC is running its own hospitals and dispensaries, why does it need a provision to buy insurance from outside? It could actually have asked the employees to go and utilize those hospital services if they have quality services. So the indicators are there in the corridor services, delivery services that the BMC is doing. Is that we are not actually following those indicators, we are not studying them. And when Mr. Sapna was talking about the MLAs being in the opposition and not in the power in the corporation, if you look at the deliberation that happens in the House during the budget making process or even post that, it's not up to the rate standard. There needs to be a lot to be deliberated in the House. Across party lines, maybe
Mr. Sapra, the accusation that the deliberation happening across party lines in the state and the city are just not of the quality that Mumbai deserves. There isn't enough conversation, there isn't enough debate, there isn't enough deliberation happening between opposition and the party currently. Respond to that.
Of course, there should be a deliberation between the opposition party and the ruling party, and it has been happening a number of times. But that finally the ruling party, the people who are ruling in the BMC, they need to be serious. And the second most important thing is, let's not blame only the politicians. It is also the bureaucrats, the red tapeism, which is always stalling the projects or delaying the projects. Like I have seen this Goregaon-Mulund Link Road project. This project we have been talking since last 15 years. The BMC has been appointing consultants after consultants, consultant after consultant. They have been paying them crores of rupees. Similarly, in the other projects like improving the drainage system of Mumbai, drainage system of the city or the suburb, they have been appointing consultants after consultants. Now somewhere this red tapeism has to end. The bureaucracy also has to decide. They need to have a limited time period that somebody should tell them that within this time frame you have to complete this job, you have to complete this.
Rishi Agarwal filed a PIL against the
there should be a penalty also if the contractor fails.
Rishi Agarwal filed a PIL against the BMC on the garbage issue. Rishi, tell us what the PIL was about and how much headway have we made so far since you filed that PIL?
So the PIL essentially was about the contract which Municipal Corporation gave for Devnar. It was a PPP contract, and their own consultants RNFS in 2005 had given a certain figure of money to be paid as a tipping fee. It was I think 140-150 rupees a ton, and the BMC finalized the contract at something like 550 rupees a ton finally. And I was just told earlier in the day that a significant amount of money has already been paid as part of that contract. for the Devnar dumping ground. So it is really unfortunate that I think it's almost 1,000 crores which has been paid out, that the money has also been paid out, not achieved the outcome as well on Devnar. So after that PIL was filed in 2010, the Congress government, then state government, formed a special investigation team under I think it was Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, and that gave a report, and I don't know what has happened with that report. That report has completely got shelved, and I think the Congress is equally answerable to that, because the Congress government was in power that time, and it clearly took names of officials and politicians who were responsible for that contract being handed out.
Mr. Sapra, go ahead. Charan Singh Sapra, go ahead. Respond to that.
Yeah. No, I would like to add to that what Mr. Rishi said now. Of course, the Congress, I told you earlier also that Congress had set up an inquiry also. Now, Congress did, they did file, there was an action taken report. The complaints were filed, the action was taken on the bureaucracy, on the engineers. Now these engineers which are at a lower level, the action is always taken upon them. What I am trying to say, the red tapeism at a higher level also needs to be tackled. They are equally involved in that.
Okay, Mr. Sapra.
So,
Mr. Sapra, I'm going to interrupt you there
because trying to work on this today.
I'm going to interrupt you there because according to me, the most important part or the most important person in this conversation is the citizen himself. We have Nikhil, who's called us on the phone line from Vikhroli, who's suffering because of this problem that the government has not taken cognizance of. Nikhil, if you can hear us, go ahead. Tell us what your problem is.
Yeah, my name is Nikhil and I am the resident of Vikhroli, Kannamar Nagar.
Okay.
So we have a dumping ground in the vicinity of the residential area, and it's the population, the area of about 30,000 population. So we have been suffering this problem of dumping ground and a stinking smell for last 2 years, and no one has taken any action yet. So you can understand the kind of adverse impact on the health of children and especially the pregnant women it is causing. So I would like government to please look after this and try to get this eradicated completely from this Kannamar Nagar or any other residential area in Mumbai or anywhere else in India.
Alright, Nikhil, that's a fair ask and we're going to take your ask to the government. Rishi, you know the fact that in the BMC budget there was 28 crore rupees. Now, that massive budget that we're talking about of 37,000 crore rupees, which was the total allocation that the BMC was looking at, 28 crore rupees got set aside to create a new dumping ground. We're not talking here about segregation, we're not talking about solid waste management, we're talking about creating one more dumping ground which will cause another set of problems 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, where all of these problems we're facing today is going to be created in another neighborhood. How short-sighted is that?
No, it's absolutely short-sighted, and some of us have been completely vociferously opposing the creation of any new dumping ground. And it's not just a matter of the rupees 28 crores being sanctioned, and if you look at the budget, I think 46% is going as salaries. So I'm saying, and in fact the budget is now going to get a double whammy because the 7th pay commission is coming in, and the commissioner has clearly acknowledged that the salaries will go up and they'll have to be paid arrears from Jan 2011 onwards. Now I'm saying 7th pay commission is giving, I think, very good salary levels. So we need to know what is the output of the employees. I mean, solid waste management department, how many people are employed, are they having any clear targets and outcomes for creating zero waste buildings? And we've been clearly sharing examples of buildings which are sending little or no garbage to Devnar. So I think there has to be accountability at multiple levels, not just at the amount of capital expenditure budgeted within the budget, but also are we getting maximum bang for the buck for the salaries we are paying to the municipal.
You know, the other problem that I have with the budget that was announced, and unfortunately, like I keep saying, we do not have a representative of the BMC. No one from the BMC was willing to answer these questions. There was an allocation of 581 crore rupees made for fire safety. There will be new fire stations set up in Baikala, Vikhroli and Borivali. Now, here's my problem. The fire station in Devnar that is meant to watch over the dump that we are talking about is not even active yet. You have not allocated enough money for fire safety, and you have not allocated, and you're not looking at solving the problems. From what I understand from my team tells me that we have Vinod Snuff from BJP, who's Shalar from BJP, who's on the phone line right now. Mr. Shalar, thank you for joining us. We have a lot of questions for you about the budget that was announced, but first I want to understand if there's any update or any response from the state government or the city managers on what's going on in the DNR dump yard. Mr. Shalar, can you hear me? Alright, we seem to have lost that phone line. We're going to come back to it. Milind, respond to this, the fact that fire safety, which is a huge problem in Mumbai. Anybody who lives in the city has seen fire trucks being trapped in traffic. We know they're not going to get where they need to be on time, and we do not have enough fire trucks in this city. We do not have enough firemen in this city. The ones that have been sanctioned have not been executed, and now we've had another 500 crore rupees sanctioned for 3 more fire stations. It's just not top priority for this government in spite of what we're dealing with today.
True. In fact, that is what I was trying to say when I was talking of outcome budgeting. What happens with the corporation is that they are not looking at the outcome indicators at the end of the 1 year of implementation of the budget. Once they have that indicator monitored, then the problems will get sorted. They will know whether they use the money properly, and what is the impact that's going to happen. You spoke about the 500 crores for the fire trucks. Similarly, there were policies announced in the last year budget, like pedestrian-free road, pedestrian-friendly road, and the pedestrian-friendly road policy was announced last year, but there is no follow-up happening this year. These are policies which need to be allocated a lot of money, which needs to be followed year on year, and the tracks need to be tracked for the progress that is happening, because they are going to have a long-term impact.
No, I want to let our viewers know this. Okay, I'm going to put on the screen the Chief Minister's Twitter handle right now, because Vinod Shalar, who got on the phone line with us, agreeing to talk to us on the phone, at least disconnected that phone call when he heard the question. He has now switched off his phone and we can no longer reach him. There is nobody from the BMC who's willing to get on the show and answer these questions. The questions are valid. The questions are questions that impact your quality of life as a citizen. You should currently pick up your phone and tweet out your discontentment as a citizen and as a customer of these services to the Chief Minister about the fact that the BMC has been irresponsible, that they've not taken our health seriously, they've not taken our safety seriously, they've not taken fire safety, air quality, water quality, sewage management. None of these things are top priority to the BMC. Branding Mumbai as an international hub is not going to do anything for any of us if we can't live in this city. We pay top dollar as taxes. Half or third of our salaries get taken away as taxes. We pay property tax, we pay local tax. The least we can demand in return for this is clean water and clean air. We demand that the people who manage this city make that happen, and if in the very least become accountable for it. If you as a citizen are upset, there is the Twitter handle of the Chief Minister, twitter.com #Dev_Fadnavis. Send out a tweet right now, as I am going to do, because I am an unhappy customer of the services that the city provides. Rishi, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
I just wanted to build up from the good example which Milind gave. The pedestrian first scheme got launched, and I can show you footpath after footpath getting revamped in the city, where it's only become a question of replacing the one set of paver blocks with another set of paver blocks, and there is absolutely no outcome. Is the footpath finally walkable? That is absolutely no concern of the contractor. Nobody in the road department has any clue about designing good quality footpaths.
Let's not even talk about footpaths right now. Do you know that it takes 3 hours to get from Lower Parel to Kandivali or Borivali in the evening, which is where most number of people need to go? It's basic civic sense to manage the traffic of the city, which the BMC has not been able to do. The BMC on top of that has been given the coastal road project, which it has absolutely no capacity to execute.
And look at the way in which they're handling BST. They've given a measly 10 crores, and that too in such a disparaging manner. I think they need to be strengthening the public bus service system to be able to handle the traffic jams we are seeing on the road. Only car-based transport is being facilitated, and we are just choking on the fumes from the exhaust from all these cars. So, I mean, people are losing time and health both.
Mr. Sapra, how can citizens of this city voice their discontentment at this point?
If I can add one.
Yeah. Milind, I'll come to you in a second.
See, that's what I'm saying. That BMC has failed in all these years. Now, if you see the last year budget, Last year budget it was around 33,000 crores. Now if you see how much they have used, it is just 25% of what they have used. Then they have also incurred a loss in the revenue. Now to increase the revenue, they are trying to put a tax on the crude oil. They are going to increase some taxes, they are going to put some property tax for the slums also, just to increase the revenue of the BMC. Now on one side they are not able to utilize the entire budgetary fund, they are utilizing only 25%, and on the other side they are thinking about increasing the revenue by taxing the poor people, the slum people, or taxing the crude oil. Now crude oil, if you see internationally, where earlier it was $140 per barrel, today it is $30 to $35 per barrel. Actually the price should have reduced to 35 rupees by now. But the central government is not worried about it. If the BMC wants to put a tax on the crude oil, they should have taken the subsidy from the central government. What is a big deal? It is BJP government in BMC, it is BJP in the state, it is BJP at the center. If they need to increase something in crude oil, they should have taken the subsidy. Why put a
increasing the octroi on crude? Yeah, increasing the octroi on
planning what they are doing, and they are taking Mumbaikars for a ride.
Mr. Sappa, 1 second. We have Rai Sheikh on the phone line with us, Samajwadi Party cooperator from Mumbai, standing committee member of the BMC, joins us on the phone line. Mr. Rai Sheikh, I want first an update from you on what's happening at the Deonar dump yard. Has the government managed to do anything at all to control the smoke that's bellowing out of that dump yard, to control the fires?
See, now there is no major fire reported today, and I'm sure that tonight will be the test for us. Our firefighters have been fighting the flames. There are about 145 men inside. There are about 20-25 vehicles, the firefighting vehicles inside. A lot of man and machinery inside. But we're fighting a very old problem. Try to understand that the dumping ground came into existence in 1927. And since then we have been just dumping over there.
You know, I'll tell you this, Rai Sheikh, that the BMC budget that was passed actually allocates 28 crore rupees for a new dump yard. So if you're saying that this is a problem that you've inherited, you're currently putting up a fresh problem that's going to cause another issue 5 years down the line.
I'm not going to defend the BMC on this. I have spoken in the House today. It is the negligence of our officers that has caused so much trouble to the city, and I've asked the Commissioner to apologize to the city. That is the ideal situation. Now, as far as the dump yard is concerned, BMC has been a complete failure in managing all our dumping ground and managing the solid waste management of the city. One. Secondly, where do you go from here now? I have spoken to IIT, I have spoken to NERI. Now I am trying to coordinate between IIT, scientists and BMC. And I'm begging, I am forcing them, I am trying to put sense into them that please accept that this problem is beyond you and you cannot manage this. Money is never a problem with BMC. We have 40,000 crores as deficit and we have 37,000 crores. Our capital expenditure is about 12,000 crores. We are not able to spend that money. We are not able to spend more than 30%. So now money is not a problem. Technology is a problem. We need to have a dedicated team of engineers just for the dumping ground, one. Secondly, we need to engage the best brains in the world and the country to tell us what technology should we use there. We as a party and all our corporators are trying to force the BMC to do that.
Charan Singh Sapra, is that enough of a response right now? Do you think that will bring in the change that we require right now as citizens?
Of course, the citizens, not now. I feel these things should have been planned 19 years ago. Definitely a dumping ground, we don't need to only dump garbage over there. We need a treatment plant over there. We can create energy out of waste. We can, create fertilizer out of the waste. There are so many techniques. There are so much of technology available in the world. But BMC has been so lethargic. This Shiv Sena BJP has been so lethargic. The bureaucracy in BMC has been so lethargic that nobody has bothered. We have been suggesting time and again. I, as a MLC of Congress Party, I have taken up this issue time and again. But nobody has bothered. So they have now searched for a new Taloja ground instead of searching for a Taloja ground. That is not a solution. You need to treat the garbage which is already there at Deonar, which is already there at Kanjur Marg, which is already there at Milind. Now unfortunately all the 3 dumping grounds of Mumbai city are in the eastern suburb. The entire 10,000 metric ton garbage is being dumped in the eastern suburb every day. We have been having asthma patients, we have been having so many respiratory disorders in the eastern suburb. Why the eastern suburb has to pay for this? Why no treatment plant for 19 years? Why no processing plant for 19 years?
On some level, I think the previous Congress governments are also answering to the questions that you are asking right now. Rais Sheikh, do you want to respond to that?
First of all, I agree to every bit of what Mr.
No, but the planning authority, it is the planning authority which has to do this.
Okay,
if the state government doesn't give an additional fund to the BMC, then you can point a finger at the state government. But until and unless the planning authority is not ready to execute something, then you can't the state government also. We have been taking up this issue time and again.
They wanted permissions from you which you denied continuously.
Absolutely, the lease and everything was with the state government. They were continuously denying the lease.
Don't now
Nobody denied. Who is saying this? I'm not having a television in front of me. Never the permissions were.
That's Mr. Sapra, that's Rais Sheikh who's saying that you denied the leases repeatedly, and you cannot turn around right now and say that the Congress had nothing to do with it.
Rais Sheikh has become a councillor now. He doesn't know what is happening in the Vidhan Bhavan.
I know more than what you know about the
Legislative Council.
Mr. Sapra, please accept that since 2009.
Rais Khan, you don't know the deliberations which have happened in the assembly.
I don't need to. I know the facts.
Because you are from Samajwadi Party and you want to target the Congress, it will not happen.
I'm not targeting you.
What have you done for your dumping ground?
Rishi Agarwal, you filed a PIL about exactly this. What does your research tell us?
No, Mr. Sapra, one need not be in the assembly to know what happened in the assembly. The fact is that there is a clear case that the lease for the dumping grounds was with the state government, and that permission has been.
Rais Khan, he just can't lie on a national channel.
I'm not, Mr. Sapra. I'm not. See,
if Rais Khan is ignorant, that doesn't mean that Congress has to bear.
I'm not ignorant. I'm just stating the fact.
I've been living next to the dumping ground. Am I not undergoing that pain? What are you trying to say? I'm myself undergoing that pain. How can you tell all this?
Mr. Sapra, cool down.
Don't politicalize.
We are not
talking clearly on the budget. We are talking on the situation in the city. Don't politicalize it.
See, I am not politicalizing. I am just merely stating the fact.
Okay. Go ahead, Rais Sheikh. Go ahead. Just state the facts as you see them.
See, I am not here to go to the history.
But the facts remain. Don't distort the facts.
1 second, Mr. Sapra. Let Rais Sheikh finish saying what he's saying. Go ahead, Rais Sheikh.
I'm simply saying the lease of the dumping ground to the contractor was denied by the Congress NCP government time and again. That remains a fact. Okay, I am on record. I am on national TV. You also understand that the facts will not change.
Okay, I'll explain you on this also.
Shiv Sena BJP is completely.
You are talking about Kanjur Marg ground.
I'm talking about Deonar ground. Mr. Sapra, the Shiv Sena BJP government, ruling party in BMC is completely responsible. They are visionless. They are saying that they will change the country. I don't believe they will not change Mumbai in 20 years. But the fact will remain that the UD, the BMC works under UD, your government was there, you denied leave, which resulted in the contractor not performing. But it's a bigger mess than just blaming Congress for it. Now, point is, let's all work together.
Which dumping ground?
Which dumping ground, Rais Sheikh?
I'm saying Deonar dumping ground. The lease was denied by the state government to the contractor repeatedly.
Wrong.
Okay. Oh God, if you don't want to accept something, I'm not going to repeat it again.
So how the dumping is continuing on that if the lease is denied?
Sir, the dumping is continuing because there is no other space in Mumbai. I can also sit over there, the whole Govendi can sit and stop the dumping. Right? Question is, where will the garbage go?
No. I'll answer this.
Alright, go ahead, Mr. Sapra.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Sapra, go ahead. You said you'll answer. Go ahead.
Needs to correct the facts. I also know everything about the dumping ground, all the history of the dumping grounds. It is not the question of the lease of Deonar dumping ground. It was the question of the lease of Kanjurmarg dumping ground. Now this Kanjurmarg dumping ground, which is 143 hectares, earlier the BJP Shiv Sena government, which was come in 95 to 99, they wanted to do a development, they wanted to build buildings over there. It was on my request and the Congress legislators that later on the Chief Minister Vilas Rao Deshmukh, we approached to the court and we could secure this Kanjurmarg ground for dumping. Why? Because the government wanted to close or reduce the load on the Deonar as well as the Mulund dumping ground. It was like that. So the Kanjurmarg dumping ground, it was actually a treatment plant was to be set on it, for which the contractor wanted a long lease.
Okay, see, I'm going to interrupt both of you. Mr. Sapra, just give me a second.
No, listen, don't be intolerant. Don't be intolerant. Listen.
No. See, I have an independent voice here. Rishi Agarwal is an independent voice from neither party. Who's been researching this now for over a decade. Rishi, what is your research found?
Listen. Let me complete, please. Give me 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds, Mr. Sapra. Go ahead. 30 seconds.
Give me 30 seconds. See, the government had given the lease for the Congress government had given the lease to the Kanjurmarg contractor, but the contractor wanted to take a 300 crore loan on it. So the land is of government. How can he keep the government land mortgage? He wanted to keep the government land mortgage and take a 300 crore loan from the bank, which government disallowed. So it was Kanjurmarg dumping ground which was closed for 1 year. It was because of this reason, because he wanted to mortgage the government land, which is not possible. Where is the state government wrong in this, Mr. Raees Khan? Is the contractor your relate now? You want to mortgage the land, you mortgage it. Now it is not about government.
I will not go to your level. I will not go to your level of taking names. Okay, Mr. Sapra. Nobody is my relative. Okay. First of all, you are a very senior leader.
No.
Please try to understand that we are discussing a serious issue. I don't want to point fingers. I told you that. I am saying let's work together for a better future.
It is a serious issue, but you don't.
One second. Okay. I'm going to ask both Mr. Sapra and Mr. Sheikh to hold on for a second. I want to hear from Rishi Agarwal. Rishi is an independent voice who's been studying the problem. Rishi, tell us where the problem is.
Mr. Sapra and Mr. Sheikh, the whole issue is that there was an ILMFS report of 2005, and everything which has happened with dumping grounds in the past 10 years, the ILMFS report has been as a basis. Now the ILMFS report has clearly stated that Deonar dumping ground will not be closed down completely. Right. From the 130 hectares, 65 hectares a waste processing facility was to be set up, and 2000 tons of waste would still keep going to Deonar for a certain period of time, and 130 hectares minus 65 hectares there would be a scientific closure of the dumping ground. So that is the whole issue, and for that the lease I think the state government did not give, and that is why the contractor has not been able to, I mean, again there is stories within wheels.
Rishi Agarwal.
Yes.
You are living in Deonar, but you have to learn from Rishi Agarwal. He's speaking rightly.
No, but what? These are all facts on records, Mr. Sapra. I'm not mutating any of the facts. These are all on record. You can go ahead and check.
Mr. Sapra, Rishi Agarwal is saying the same thing.
Let BMC upload the ILMFS report upon its website and let the public decide. Why is it that ILMFS report such a precious commodity that it does not come out in the public? Even for somebody like me, it is a difficult thing. Let that report come out in the public and let the public deliberate. That report has been is so crucial to understand everything that is happening today.
Mr. Rishi, isn't this what I was saying?
No, absolutely, I agree with you. So I'm not disagreeing with the points which you made. Those are all facts on record completely.
Yeah, and why Mr. Sapra is getting aggravated on that?
No, so I mean, the idea is not again
the point of lease was wrong.
Oh,
right, Sheikh, your point of lease was wrong. That government denied the lease. It was not that.
Okay, Mr. Sapra, let's
discuss the budget, I guess.
Let's discuss something more positive.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Raees Sheikh, I want to ask you this. We've been talking about the budget, the fact that it's horribly disappointing for us as citizens. There isn't enough attention being paid to fire safety services. We know that the money that was allotted to fire safety services last year has not been spent. In Deonar, is there an active fire station in Deonar? Is the one in Chembur the closest one that's active right now?
No, see, the situation is now that we have no fire station within the dumping ground. The fire station that is closest is Mankur, where we were supposed to set up the command center. I've been screaming since 3 years that Mankur station is also not operative now. So all these facts we've been protesting, demanding, you take the records in the house, we've been screaming. Now this fire has happened. Today itself the commissioner made a statement on the floor of the house that the command center will be set up and there will be 4 dedicated fire engines kept within Deonar dumping ground. I told him the same thing that 2 months back when the commissioner visited with me to Deonar dumping ground, same promises were made. So how do I trust the commissioner? You make a statement, you make records that you will do it. You don't do it. Now where do I go?
So are you telling me, Rashik, that the opposition is completely powerless in all of this? That the people
I have used every...
Unfortunately have no one to turn to because you are telling us you have no power at all?
First of all, I have used every legislative tool available in the Act. I am just a councillor, we don't have executive powers. I have used all legislative tools within the Act. I have done protest, we've done human chain, we've done all sorts of things that anybody could do. The local, and I'm not saying only me, the local population, everybody over there has tried everything.
Yeah, there are
the problem is
projects declared 3-4 years back which have still not been done. So
the only excuse in the rescue that the commissioner is taking is that there was a private contractor we have taken over on the 30th of January 2016. This is the rescue he is taking. I told him today in the house that if you don't take action against the officers responsible, I'm not going to believe you. You take action when there is flooding in the city. You put 5 contractors behind the bar. You suspended 14 officers. I expect the same from you. 1. Secondly, I have told him that don't bring us to this level where the residents of Gondi come on the street and stop vehicles. That's going to be the extreme step. We understand our responsibility. There's only one dumping ground operational, that is Deonar. And if we stop vehicles, then the entire city will have garbage on the streets. Okay, this is the situation. The standing committee chairman was forced to stand up and take an oath and commit that all funds will be given to Deonar. Now, this is the maximum anybody can do. We are doing everything possible as the opposition, as a local representative, and I'm appealing to everyone, including Mr. Sapra. Please work together. I'm not saying that it is Congress. We all know the history, and people will decide who's wrong and who's right. Please work
Mr.
together.
Sapra?
Of course. See, the other part which I would like to touch over here is that in BMC there is a lot of corruption, whether it is the road department, whether it is the sewerage department, whether it is the drainage department, whether it is any other department, whether it is education, whether it is health facilities. There's a lot of corruption among the bureaucracy also that needs to be curtailed somewhere. Somebody in the organization or in the state government has to have an eye on this, that the corruption in BMC, which has soared to a very higher level, that needs to be curbed somewhere. Now, there's an instance where the mayor of the Shiv Sena, the sitting mayor of Shiv Sena, complains to the municipal commissioner about corruption in the roads department. Now, they are only ruling and they are only complaining to the municipal commissioner. See, the situation is so worse in Mumbai Municipal Corporation. The corruption is there at each and every level. Until and unless this corruption is curbed or is downgraded, nothing is going to help.
See, I would also suggest that to fight the corruption, etc., certain amount of the concept of participatory budgeting really needs to move into the BMC. If you read any of our newspapers, TV channels, you clearly get to see 100 odd activists or citizens who are actively taking interest in the city's issues and are continuously suggesting projects for the good of the city. It could be solid waste management, roads, etc. Participatory budgeting is something which Milind can, I think, comment upon, but this is a concept which really need to moving in because the BMC has almost become like a fortress which is being controlled only by a select number of people. There are hundreds of citizens who have far more good of the city in their mind and they're being denied an access to participate within the municipal corporation. It is high time we let some of these well-meaning good citizens into the functioning of the corporation.
Mhaske, is it time for the BMC to let the citizens in?
I would like to exit because I have to go to another channel.
Definitely. In fact, ward committee.
Rai Sheikh, just give me 2 minutes. I'll let you go in 2 minutes. I just want you to hear what Milind has to say. Go ahead, Milind.
Milind has to go.
Participatory budget is something which is the need of the hour, and the ward committee is a place where actually participatory budget can be brought in a very effective manner. Rai Sheikh and the rest of the party heads in BMC can actually take active steps towards bringing a participatory budget at the ward committee level, when the budgets are actually discussed in September and October before they get presented by the commissioner in the month of Feb. That's the time when constructive suggestions can be given and they can be actually acted upon.
Alright, Rai Sheikh and Mr. Sapra, Rai Sheikh, I know you have to leave, so I'll bring this question to you first. Is it possible at the ward level, at the very basic ward level on the ground, to involve citizens in the budgeting, to involve citizens in the planning, in projects, and then take it to the higher level? Is that something that we can fight for within the government, that you can take up personally?
See, what I feel is that the elected representative of respective wards should take initiative. We've done it in our ward. If you go to my website, you will see that whatever budget is allocated or spent is available transparently on my website. So one thing is there, it is the local representatives who need to turn to the people and take suggestions. Now the only conflict would be at the central level in the BMC to accept suggestions. But yes, it's a good idea. Participation at all levels should be there, and that is the way to go forward. But I also appeal to the activists who are suggesting that give us in writing what you want. It's not that we are a fortress. I mean, at least I can speak for me and my party. Every good suggestion is welcome, and definitely you can route it through us to the corporation. I am a group leader. I have the access to the highest body, which is the group leaders body. Any suggestion that comes to me.
But you just told us that you're powerless, Rai Sheikh. You said that I'm trying everything I can and nothing's happening.
I can propose. Okay. I cannot act on that.
All right.
That is the system that decides.
Can I do this then on your behalf as well? Can I ask anybody who's watching the channel at this point if they have a suggestion to get in touch with us and we can pass it on to you?
I gave my Twitter handle to you yesterday also. Completely open to it. I believe
in 2 sessions.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Milind.
Yeah, Milind, bolo.
If you could really push for if you can really go and push for outcome budgets in a very proper manner, and participatory budget to come from the next budget, it will be a great step.
Absolutely.
Just these 2 things: the outcome budget, the president will be in an outcome budget manner, and participatory budgets at the ward level.
See, what I've done, Milind, today is one resolution that will come in February in the House, is that the budget, when it is those departments are not able to spend the money, that would include SWM, we'll have to submit a detailed report to the House why they've not done that. 2 things that you have suggested is participatory panels at the Prabhag level. I definitely accept that's a good suggestion. I promise you that I will move the resolution in February for that.
Alright, Mr. Sapra, I want to ask you the same question. Can you
leave now?
Yes, Rai Sheikh. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we look forward for an update from you on a regular basis on what's happening at the Deonar dumping ground for our citizen viewers, and we'll expect you to join us in the studios fairly soon. Is that okay?
Thank you. I'm going. Thank you. Bye.
Alright, okay. Mr. Sapra, I want to come back to you with the same question. The fact that as opposition, we can't turn around and say, hey, you know what, there's nothing we can do because we have no executive powers. What can you do right now to take all of the problems and the suggestions you heard on the show this evening to the government and to the people who are in charge?
See, as an opposition party, I am not running away from the responsibilities. Let me tell you that each and every ward has a public member in it. Like Mr. Rais just now he said, in the Praja Samiti, there is a public member over there. But somehow what happens, the public member which has to be there is also to be chosen by the majority party. Okay. So what they do, they appoint some of their office bearer only, some of the party member only as the public member. Now here is the problem, that there is one seat for a public member to be in that Pravat Samiti, and that also the ruling party member comes and fills that seat. So that is how the problem lies over there. Okay. No new member is coming from the public. So somewhere the municipal commissioner has to make a policy for this, so that the public member is included and the public suggestions are included in that.
Mr. Sapra, the viewer who's called to ask you a question, Ganesh has called us from Chembur. Ganesh, go ahead. Tell us your question. We're running out of time, so you'll have to tell us quickly.
The question is that you're talking about public, air quality. Air quality in Chembur is very bad. People are all suffering. There's a lot of diseases. We are really suffering staying in Chembur. The air quality is so bad. There's no decisions being taken to put out the fire, and the dumping ground need to be stopped because more and more people will die here. People are all falling sick. As it goes on, we all will have having very tough time with the breathing of air.
So, what is your demand from the government right now?
The government is that we should stop the dump and put out the fire so that people get some fresh air.
Alright. So Ganesh's demand is very simple, Mr. Sapra. He says it's not political, it's not about corruption. Just stop the fire.
Yeah. See, even I am saying the same thing, or every person in Mumbai is now telling the same thing. Even I am living near a dumping ground in Milind where 2000 metric ton is, dumped every day. So this is a genuine problem. These dumping grounds needs to be either closed, or there should be a treatment plant, or there should be a technology to treat the waste over there so that this entire garbage dump which is there can be reduced. So some technology the government has to get, some technology the BMC has to get, and we need to resolve this problem because this is a general problem of every Mumbaikar.
Short-term solution, put out the fire immediately. This is a crisis. Long-term solution, we have to find a more responsible, long-term, sustainable way to deal with the garbage that the city is creating, whether that is segregating and managing the garbage. That's something the city has to take into consideration. But what we've established on the show is that the BMC will not answer our questions, that no one from that government or body will represent themselves on any sort of channel and answer the questions that we're asking. We are going to continue to bang on the door of the BMC until we get answers for questions of roads, of water, of air quality, of waste management, because this is basic stuff that we have rights to as average citizens. But we've run out of time on this show. Remember, if you'd like to write to us or get in touch with us in any way, there's Twitter, there's Facebook. You can reach me personally on Twitter as well. I'd like to thank all three gentlemen who've been on the show. Thank you so much for your time. This is an issue that we're going to continue to take very, very strongly. I take it very personally. In the city of Mumbai, we're going to take it up on a regular basis. We're not going to let this one slide. We're not going to let the BMC off the hook. Thank you for watching. Stay with Magic Bricks now.